Good morning and welcome, commissioners, CTE staff, and members of the public watching remotely. I'm Manuel Rustin, the chair of the Instructional Quality Commission, and I call this meeting to order. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we are continuing to hold these important meetings virtually. The IQC meeting logistics will follow Governor Gavin Newsom's March 17, 2020 Executive Order N-2920, which allows state bodies that fall under the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act to hold public meetings that are covered by Bagley-Keene with web conferencing and audio conferencing. In compliance with California's statewide stay-at-home order, today's IQC meeting is a video conference meeting with a live webcast. This meeting is only to accept public comments on the 2021 Arts Education and 2021 World Languages Instructional Materials adoptions. The IQC will not be taking any actions today. Public comment on the items on today's meeting agenda may be provided during the meeting by dialing 712-770-5330 and then following a prompt to provide a participant access code. Callers will then be added to a queue. The operator will notify callers when it is their turn to provide public comment. Public comment will be limited to 10 minutes. If possible, we recommend members of the public dialing in for public comment continue to view the live stream of the meeting for a better understanding of the meeting's status. When it is your turn, please mute the live cast audio. When giving public comment, please state the following. First, your first and last name. Second, your organization affiliation, if any. And third, your public comment. Again, the phone number is 712-770-5330. The access code is 387-4109. The phone number and access code will also be announced at the start of public comment for each item. This is also outlined on the August 17, 2021 IQC agenda posted on the IQC webpage. Now I will introduce each commissioner and state board liaison participating in today's meeting. When I call your name, unmute your microphone and confirm your attendance. Then please mute your microphone again. Vice Chair Costa Hernandez.
Present.
Commissioner Cristina Andre.
Present.
Commissioner Mariana Astorga Amanza.
Present.
Commissioner Christine Chapman.
Present.
Commissioner Shay Fairchild.
Present.
Commissioner Anita Friedman.
Present.
Commissioner Lindsay Gotanda.
Present.
Commissioner Lily Jarvis.
Present.
Commissioner Yolanda Munoz.
Present.
Commissioner David Pontai. Here. Commissioner Danae Popovich.
Present.
Commissioner Alma Delia Renteria.
Present.
Commissioner Pam Williamson.
Here.
Commissioner Kimberly Young.
Present.
Assembly Member James Ramos. Senator Ben Allen. Okay. I will now lead us in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now turn the meeting over to Deputy Superintendent Rachel Maves.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chair Rustin. And good morning to the commissioners and everyone joining the meeting today. My name is Rachel Maves, and I'm the Deputy Superintendent for the Instruction and Measurement Branch at the California Department of Education. And I'm here to provide today the Commission with some important staffing updates. As many of you know, Shanine Coates, Executive Director, has accepted a position with the Sacramento County Office of Education, serving as the Director of Strategic Initiatives for the County Superintendent, leveraging her deep expertise in curriculum, teaching, and learning to support school districts throughout the Sacramento region. Shanine's contributions to the CDE and the state of California have been invaluable, and we wish her all the best in her new role. With that said, Mike Torres has agreed to serve as interim director of the Curriculum Frameworks and Instructional Resources Division as we navigate this transition and work diligently to permanently fill the position. Mike is a former math teacher and holds a doctorate in educational technology. As you may know, he currently serves as the administrator of Seaford's Instructional Resources Unit and has worked closely with Shanine to successfully lead the critical work of Seaford. We are very fortunate to have him serving in this interim capacity. Along with serving as interim director of Seaford, Mike will serve as the IQC executive director during this time. Section 33534 of the California Education Code specifies that the superintendent of public instruction or his representative shall serve as the executive secretary to the commission, and Mike, in his capacity as interim director of Seaford, has been appointed as the SSPI's representative in this regard. I'd also like to take this opportunity to share that I have accepted a position with the State Department of Education in Tennessee and will be transitioning to my new role at the end of this week. I have deeply appreciated the partnership and support of this commission during my tenure and wish you all the best in lending your expertise to ensuring the highest quality curriculum and instruction for the students of California. I thank you for your service and your partnership. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Rustin.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Maves, and I certainly wish you well on your journey over to Tennessee. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Next up is public comment on submitted instructional materials programs for the 2021 Arts Education and 2021 World Languages Instructional Materials Adoptions. Public comment is now open for both the 2021 Arts Education Adoption and the 2021 World Languages Adoption. Please follow the instructions on the screen if you would like to give public comments. As a reminder, each speaker will have 10 minutes to speak. Before we begin, I would like to clarify what kinds of comments would be the most useful for this process. Please alert us to the new evidence you are providing. That is information beyond that which was provided to the review panels during the adoption deliberations held in July. Commissioners have already received copies of all comments that were distributed to the review panels. Note that the California Code of Regulations states that we cannot accept new content in the instructional materials at this point. Proposed rewrites to the submitted materials, additional components, or other items that were not submitted during the review process cannot be considered. Minor edits and corrections that are minimal in number are acceptable. The IQC will evaluate all comments received as part of its own evaluation of the submitted instructional materials. At its meeting on September 22nd and September 23rd, the SMC will make their recommendation to the full IQC, which will in turn make its recommendation to the state board. At that meeting, the IQC will also accept public comments on any of the submitted programs before it takes its final action. If you have more to say than can be said in 10 minutes, remember that you can submit written comments to the Arts Education Adoption email box at vapa@cde.ca.gov and to the World Languages Adoption email box at worldlanguages@cde.ca.gov. While comments may be submitted anytime up to the day before our September meeting, I encourage submitters to get their comments in early so that they can be sent to us in advance for the meeting. And with that, I believe we're ready to open up the comments.
Yes, we do have one person in the queue. Caller, you may begin.
Hello, folks. My name is Scott Ellaway, and I'm the president of Opus U. And I would like to comment on agenda item D.1 as a participating publisher. Opus U Incorporated is a small California-based publishing company based in downtown Los Angeles. We're currently taking part in the 2021 California Education Arts Instructional Materials Adoption. We submitted a digital music curriculum, K through 8, to the Instructional Quality Commission for review on May 7th. The panel did not carry out the review as instructed by CDE staff during the training week. The majority of reviewers began their review the week before deliberations. We believe if the review had been carried out as instructed, then the curriculum would have passed the review process. In short, a curriculum submitted from a small unknown publisher will require a full review, whereas a curriculum submitted by a multi-million-dollar publisher that is already well known to panel members will generally fare well with a shorter review. On July 23rd, we received the report of findings advising that the program is not recommended for adoption. As such, we plan to use public comment today as a platform to provide evidence of why the program should be adopted, focusing on 2 points. 1, reviewer preparation, an activity log proving without doubt that the majority of panel did not carry out a review as instructed. 2, review panel citations. For every citation listed by the panel where they believe we do not meet the standard or criterion statement, we have provided our own citation, proving without doubt where we do meet the standard. This evidence was submitted in written format to the IQC today and may be accessed by members of the public via the following link, www.opusyoulearning.com/report of findings, www.opusyoulearning.com/report of findings. We accept the edits and correction section within the report of findings. We also accept criteria category 3, assessment, which we passed. However, other matters of content findings and edits and corrections that may have changed and not previously captured are rejected by OPUSU. We believe passionately in providing the best music curriculum for California public schools. We believe such an important moment requires the highest level of scrutiny. In addition to presenting this document to the IQC, and with a plan to make public comment at the Board of Education meeting in November, we've also spoken with the Governor's Office. After our conversation with the Governor's Office, it was recommended that we also reach out to Senator Ben Allen, as many of those who work for OPUSU are based in Senate District 26. Should the curriculum not be adopted, then staff will ultimately be laid off, as a negative result will blackball OPUSU throughout the state. We're also advised to reach out to Assembly Member James Ramos. Our curriculum is truly unique. It is representative of music from all cultures, and this is the only curriculum that includes Native American Indian music. Reviewer preparation. The panel did not carry out the review as instructed by CDE staff during the training week. Materials were received by all panel members on May 7th. The majority of the reviewers began the review process the week before deliberations. Evidence for this may be found on pages 3 and 4 of the rebuttal document. Before we look at the citations directly, I think it is important to note that certain reviewers had formed a negative bias of the curriculum that influenced other members of the review panel, especially those who had not carried out the work in advance of deliberations. Rather than focusing on, without emotion or bias, does the curriculum meet the standard or show strength? The following conversation ensued.
And even using 2.1 as a slightly, like a gatekeeper in a way that, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter like how your table of contents is laid out. I have issues in a way with some of their scope and sequence documents, even though, it's clearly laid out, but I think disagreements with how it was handled.
I should point out that 2.1 is not a gatekeeper standard. And again, this is evidence of a reviewer who is painting a negative opinion amongst her fellow panel members. Review panel citations. We have reviewed the panel citations from the report of findings document. For each citation listed, we have provided a rebuttal and a counter citation. To be clear, and for the avoidance of doubt, each counter citation proves without doubt that we do meet the standard. The evidence provided was made available to the panel for review as part of the full submission on May 7th. The curriculum has not been updated since the submission date. I will now take a few citations as examples. So our response to each citation follows the following format. We list the grade, the review panel citation from the original report of findings, a publisher rebuttal that cites the documents and gives a statement about why the review panel are wrong, and then a counter citation that includes evidence in the form of links and screenshots. We've included screenshots so that anyone looking at this report, including non-musicians, can instantly make a judgment. It is that clear. So the first example is from grade 1, beginning on page 12 of the rebuttal document. And here is what the review panel wrote. 1 MU-CR1B, the standard calls for students to generate musical ideas in multiple tonalities, but there is no opportunity for students to create in minor. Unit 3, Understanding the Music document, calls for students to create in minor, but it is not present in the Understanding the Music teaching video. Okay, now I want to play audio from a panel member who took ownership of this citation so you can hear how the panel as a whole reached the above conclusion.
The example they provided of minor tonality was in their planning document, but not actually in the video Understanding the Music.
In the publisher rebuttal, we cite sources and provide the following statement. The Opus U learning documents, for example, the grade 1 music progression document, clearly state the use of A minor in grade 1, unit 3, as is accepted in the panel's statement. However, the panel goes on to say it is not present in the Understanding the Music teaching video, and this is incorrect. We then provide links to all of the evidence, and I will now play to you the Understanding Music teaching video from grade 1, unit 3. This is where the panel said evidence was not present. As a musician of considerable standing, I can confirm that without doubt that this is in a minor key. Okay, folks, as time is short, I will give one further example from grade 1, beginning on page 7 of the rebuttal document. 1 MUBR 6B. There is no mention of audience etiquette. There is no mention of audience etiquette. An example of this is the perform and share section of the lesson plan for Unit 2, Week 4. Okay, let's hear from a panel member now so you can hear how the panel as a whole reached the above conclusion.
Performing 6B is performance and audience decorum. We found a couple of instances of performance decorum, which were, demonstrate good singing posture, follow the leader or conductor, but didn't feel that was enough to meet the performance decorum standard.
I should point out here that the panel were instructed to find evidence thereof. They did. However, they decided we still did not meet the standard. Despite this, we provide the following as evidence in the publisher rebuttal. Audience etiquette, along with other instructions that cover a span of lessons, is located in the unit overview document. We then provide a counter citation link and screenshot of the source document, highlighted in bright yellow, that reads, performance, decorum, and etiquette, when we are part of the audience. Why should we be quiet when someone is performing? How do we show our appreciation? When is it okay to join in? It is clear and without doubt that we meet this standard. These are just two examples. However, I can confirm that every citation listed in the report of findings utilized as evidence to not adopt is without doubt discredited in our rebuttal document. The evidence submitted by Opus U to the IQC is unequivocal. We urge this committee to act, review the submitted document, and if you see strength in the document, to recommend Opus U Learning for adoption at your meeting in September. This will remove uncertainty from our company and employees so that we may serve California public schools with integrity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller, you may begin.
Hello, my name is Michelle McCauley. I am a member of the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe. I'm also Washoe, Shoshone, and Quinault. I have a master's degree in music education. I wish to comment on item D1. Within music education, as a student and as an educator, I have never seen Native Americans properly represented in a music curriculum. I specifically chose Native American composers, singers, and dancers to be a part of this curriculum who accurately represent Native Americans today and are as authentic as you can get. The IQC has claimed that the curriculum is borderline cultural appropriation, but it is far from it. Music education historically has preferred the stereotypical sounds of Hollywood Westerns and romanticized versions of Native Americans, which is why this curriculum is so important to approve, but because it has none of those negative elements. Assemblymember James Ramos, I am confident that the Native American Music Unit shows our culture as it is today through a Native lens. I am adamant that the American Indian Curriculum Committee also needs access to view this content in its entirety. Another claim against the curriculum is that it lacks expressive intent. The entire Native American unit, composed of our own songs, we explain the how, the why, the what styles they are, and what they are about. Expressive intent permeates the entire Native American unit in addition to all other units with original composition. Music education needs new curriculum that will validate everybody, and that this is the new curriculum. I'd also like to add that within the Native American Music Unit, there is mention how Orff, Kodai, Gordon, or any other popular westernized music education pedagogy does not support the complete pedagogies on how to teach Native American music. And all people within the Native American curriculum unit, we all are able to tell how the educator can teach and what the best methods are to represent Native American music as we are in the United States today. We face invisibility in curriculum, and this curriculum, if approved, will allow the over 100 tribes in the state of California, tribal students, to be able to see themselves in the curriculum accurately, as well as the rest of the students that are comprised in the public school system in the state of California. So I welcome review completely, and I would hope that everybody here on this panel and listening is going to do right by showing accurate representations of Native Americans within arts education and not accept the stereotype, but instead approve this curriculum in order so that everybody can learn who Native Americans are today and accurately see a good representation of who we are today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller, you may begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ruben Angelo. I'm not an educator. I'm 100% just an independent, but I do have school-aged family who are in music programs throughout the state. And I'd like to also comment on agenda item D1. I've been following the arts education adoption process, and I attended it as a member of the public during deliberations week. Now, I've noted a few things that the panel seemed to have negative bias towards a program submitted by OPSU. There's one reviewer in particular by the name of Emily Mason who point blank said she just didn't like the program during the first day of deliberations, which in my opinion that's more of her opinion versus a review of findings. So I would hope that California public schools would look at that and know they deserve a thorough review of education materials that is carried out as instructed by the IQC and well in advance of the deliberations. I would also urge IQC to reconsider this program for adoption. And I'm going to leave it on this note. In my opinion, and knowing several educators, instructional options are essential when it comes to meeting the needs of many different learning styles. And that's all I have as far as my comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That concludes public comment.
Thank you. So that concludes today's public comment. That concludes today's public comment meeting, I should say. And on behalf of the Instructional Quality Commission, I want to thank all who participated in this important step in the 2021 Arts Education and World Languages Instructional Materials Adoptions process. With that said, I now adjourn this meeting of the Instructional Quality Commission.